All right, we've got that going live. And we're back to Zoom, and I'm going to be recording. So thank you all who are coming today. People are still popping in. My name is Kim Lee, and I am the founder and CEO of Forge. We are a co-working space in downtown Birmingham at the Pizitz building. And we do a lot of lunch and learns in our space, but since everybody's working at home, we've taken this opportunity to switch to webinars, which I know most of you have probably now been on Zoom a lot and are very familiar with this. But what we really love that we're able to do at Forge is we're a member-based business, and our members are mainly made up of small business owners, entrepreneurs who are working hard in Birmingham and beyond to grow their business, to make an impact on our city. So what we love is that we're able to provide education and resources for our members, and then also our lunch and learns are open to the public, so people in Birmingham. So we feel a strong mission and calling to be able to help other businesses grow as well. And we can do this through providing this type of education. So we've taken the last couple weeks, and really the approach forward is we want to provide timely content that can really help you in this time of change that we're all going through and don't really know how to travel through these waters right now, but we want to help you. And so we have had 2 webinars in the past couple weeks, which are available on our website and are available on YouTube. And then we have a plan to provide more through the next couple months. We don't want to overload you with all the information that's out there because there's so many resources now, which is awesome. But we just want to use the relationships and the knowledge that we have to share with you what might be going on, things that you're facing, things that business looks a little different, maybe you're slowing down. So what are some of the things that you can focus on to really be prepared when things go back to the new normal? So we're so thankful for you joining us today. And if you have topics that you would like to see us address in the future, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Let us know who you are in the chat, what your business is, what you're focused on. But we want to provide content that you need. And so so we would love your feedback of what else you would like for us to cover. So definitely feel free. There is a Q&A section. So if you have questions that can come up, I know that at the end there will be time for Q&A, but just pop them there, pop them in the chat. We will be monitoring that, and we'll try to get to everything that we can. And so I do want to take the time before we get started to let you know about the next webinar that we have coming up. It is next Wednesday. Actually, let me make sure I get the date right. There's so many different things going on in my head. So it's April 15th. And it's with Rebecca Dobrinsky, and it's Time Management 101, the Entrepreneur's Balancing Act. We actually had this planned at Forge before all of this happened, but now it's even more timely with now we're at home and trying to figure out time management and balancing more than just work while we're at home. So that should be really great. We will follow up this webinar with an email, and it'll have a link to that. So we'll be able to provide you all of that information. So enough about Forge and what we're doing. We are so thankful to have Donna here today with us, Donna Gilliland. She is a member at Forge, but she has also done several trainings at Forge. And this is what she does, is training. And so the last one, I think it was the last one she did at Forge, was on LinkedIn, and everybody was blown away with how great it was. So we're so excited to have her here today to encourage us to really look at LinkedIn, what we should be doing, to really take this time to make our brands better when other things might be slowing down, what we can really focus on to really grow our brand. So Donna, thank you so much. I'm going to turn off my camera so that we just see you, and then I'll pop back on at the end to help manage Q&As. So thanks, Donna.
So thank you. And so welcome to my room. To my since I can't be at the Forge, my office is based downstairs, and I, like so many of you, of course, I'm used to working remote. I've done that for 20 years. but I'm glad that you carved out some time to attend this event. Now, so here's what I've got planned for you. And here's what the main topic is. First of all, the main topic is not about crafting your profile. We do have a video, when I say we, as in the Forge, I believe has that on the YouTube channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kim. But it's about the conversations that are being held on LinkedIn right now. And what kind of conversations should you be having? What should you be posting? How should you be responding to the conversations that are going on? So I'm going to start by first helping you find out what is the main topic, what are the main topics of conversation. And I think you all already know that one of the primary ones are two primaries, and that is the crisis that we are in terms of COVID-19, which it's a crisis in a really multifaceted way, and it's affecting our lives in many ways, our literal life, potentially, as well as our businesses. And now is a critical time for you to really lead on LinkedIn. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. I will be glad to give you the copy of the slides, but they're more visual aids than they are anything else. And I'm going to switch over. Okay, here we go. And I will be in my LinkedIn profile in a moment. So feel free that if you've got LinkedIn on your, the LinkedIn app on your phone to use that. All right, let me bring this up. So a few things first to just give you or paint a picture for you so you know where you're going with this and the strategy that you should be adopting as from this point forward. And now I can't stress enough that now is not the time to be a sleeper on LinkedIn. And it is a time to spruce up that profile. You're welcome to send me questions about that, but let's get going. So amid COVID-19, what I've done is pull together some research that has come directly from LinkedIn. And then later on, I'll send you where you can go on LinkedIn to actually read this blog. And speaking of blogs, if you are not following LinkedIn's blog as an informational resource, you should. And then when you read something within their wonderful blog that you think would be helpful to your community, then share it with your community, because that's another way to start a conversation and to be a helper. And that's really the mentality that we've always wanted to have or should have, but especially now, is being a giver, a helper. That's what we want to do. So let's look at what LinkedIn says has changed since January in terms of conversations. So the top hashtags in January and February, according to LinkedIn, were marketing and leadership. Those are the top ones. As of March, the top two are now, as you might expect, coronavirus and COVID-19. As far as articles that are surfacing, and those articles also are coming from Publisher. I don't know if you use Publisher or not, but on your LinkedIn profile, you'll see a pencil. And if you've never used it, that pencil takes you into a publishing platform of LinkedIn where you can create a blog post complete with images, links to videos, etc. So articles are coming from different sources, including shared. All right, now here's where we are as of March, according to LinkedIn. The top two hashtags now are the coronavirus and COVID-19, which I've already said. And then this last bullet point is about how the articles about coronavirus have increased 17 times greater between February 1 and March 17. And I think probably some of these you already probably knew on your own, but how do we help our community in our conversations on LinkedIn? Now, the biggest topics of discussions, according to LinkedIn, are on perspectives and advice on remote working. This is important for us all to know, because then we can put together a plan of help for what we contribute to conversations, and conversations we create by the post that we create. So here again, this is what LinkedIn has found out through their research during this virus. that discussions are on perspectives and advice in these areas: remote working, social distancing. Some of these are probably not surprises to you. Crisis management, business continuity, online learning, and collaboration. These are topics, perspectives, and if you have perspectives and advice in these areas, then use that by contributing to conversations that are on those. And I'm going to show you, before we stop all this presentation, how you're going to find where these discussions are. But these initial things I'm showing you, they should give you some ideas. Now, I don't know if you've ever used LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning is a subscription service with a massive library of content, education on any topic that you probably could need in business and personal. And LinkedIn Learning, people, the searches are within the LinkedIn Learning education tool. It has increased, the searches have increased for education. People are looking for education on remote working, and the search for help on remote working has tripled. So again, I would task you with thinking about, where could I help with that? And while I'm on the subject of LinkedIn Learning, LinkedIn has released some of their LinkedIn Learning modules for free that have to do with business and topics of a variety, a wide scope, a variety of topics. And they're going to do that according to their live broadcast yesterday, their small business live broadcast. And they're going to make that available, these modules, for free through June. And if you do not know how to get to LinkedIn Learning, you let me know and I'll send you the how. Now, yesterday, LinkedIn for small business, and if you're not following LinkedIn for small business, you should be. They are a wealth of information, and they do live broadcast regularly. Of course, if you can't attend the live broadcast, you can always go back and watch it later. But while I was on the broadcast yesterday, and knowing that this event was coming up today, I decided to pose that very question. I felt like I knew the answers, but I wanted to see what LinkedIn had to say. And they had one of their LinkedIn editors. They had something like 65 editors that travel the world and coming back and giving information, disseminating information through their business page. But this is the question I asked, and it actually got answered among thousands upon thousands that were coming in. So my question was, what types of conversations should retail businesses like restaurants, and of course, people who are photographers, people who have any kind of retail, and people who were online yesterday were from a broad sector of small business, down to one-person businesses. But so that was my question. What types of conversations should retail businesses like restaurants be discussing on LinkedIn? And the answer was that you should be, let me get the answer exactly here. This is what the LinkedIn editor who was being interviewed said. This is what she said. She said to share what others are doing in your field and how it's been helpful, to ask questions in others that are in your field and active on LinkedIn, to give people help and to find help from those that are posting. And her last words were give and get help. And the reason why I bring this up is because I don't want you to think, if you do, that because you're small, maybe a business of one, that you don't have a place in LinkedIn, because you absolutely do. LinkedIn's very, very big on small business, not just large. Now, this next piece is an important piece. I don't know if you have used the hashtags or not, and maybe you thought they were useless before, but they have an important place in LinkedIn. So hashtags, you should use them to listen in and respond to conversations happening about your brand or relevant topics on LinkedIn. Now, a couple of slides back, I had said that LinkedIn had told us what the conversations are, the big ones right now. So if I were you, I know I have, if you go into your search bar and you key in a hashtag, for example, we already know that remote workers is a hot conversation right now, as is COVID-19. So when you put that hashtag into your search bar in LinkedIn, and if you're on your phone on LinkedIn, do that now. When you do that, the conversations for that hashtag will appear, and you will have the option to follow any conversations that are being held about that hashtag. That gives you an opportunity to, one, stay informed on a topic that's important to you, to post helpful information inside that conversation, and to get helpful information from inside those conversations. So I've got a list for you. What can you do now and beyond COVID-19? Some of these you're probably already doing, but maybe they need to be done more. And that is reaching out to your customers to offer help. This is not a time to be salesy. This is a time to help each other. We are in a crisis. Businesses are struggling, businesses are failing, and we have this large business community from within LinkedIn to contribute to that community. I call it my LinkedIn family. But reach out to your customers and ask them, how can I help? Find hashtags around your business and then follow and contribute, which I've already stated. Share your experiences, what you found helpful and best practices. Like, for example, I think about our local restaurants here. I have watched with admiration and such emotion at what restaurants have done to become creative and still running their business, even though we have to practice social distancing and we can't go in. So some of these restaurants who have started doing this, they've been doing it for a while. Well, a prime example would be someone having a conversation with other companies of similar type that are struggling to know what to do to generate revenue in a time when you can't go in the restaurant. Then that would be a perfect opportunity for these restaurants to come in and contribute what's worked for them and hold those important conversations on LinkedIn. And while I'm thinking about it, and I feel like you already know this, but just in case, another reason of many important reasons for your profile to be right, to be done right, is every time you post your LinkedIn profile and your header that's just beneath your name, it's your official stamp on everything that you post on. And someone can, of course, click on your profile and go back and find out more about you. So now's the time to work on your profile. There are a lot of moving parts to working on your profile, and you are welcome to email me with questions. All right, let's keep going. The fourth bulleted item is keeping your customers updated about what your business is doing. And then become a curator of helpful resources. I am a curator of information. I read, and I do not share anything on any of my social platforms unless I've read it first. And make certain that what you are curating, you have read, that it is helpful. And when it comes to, for example, the virus crisis that we are in, share only information that you know is coming from an authority, a trusted authority. And what's happening right now is it's changing constantly, and the information is changing constantly. But when I say become a curator, not necessarily just specifically COVID, it's certainly a key part right now to helping people stay safe, but a curator of information that can help people in their businesses and lives. LinkedIn, my suggestion to you would be, one of your starting points would be to start curating and following pages on LinkedIn, business pages on LinkedIn. And I would start with LinkedIn business type pages among others, to look at their content they're posting. And when you find something that you feel is of value, useful in your group, your connections might not know, then share it out, because we all need information right now, good information and helpful. So become a curator. And then I want you to think about how you can increase your visibility. And I've already spoke to this topic, revise your profile if needed. And number two, if you're not aware already, on your profile, there is a feature option. So you're able to showcase and feature, for example, videos, articles, anything you think might help someone else who comes to your profile, then feature those things and update your skill sets. And you already know now some of the key topics that people are looking for information on. Well, if those keywords are not within, say, your summary of LinkedIn, then you're not going to surface on the basis of those keywords. Another reason to become educated to what the conversations are that are happening on LinkedIn right now. Number three, and I have done an event with the Forge on LinkedIn company pages, but I'm just going to make a mere mention here, is that if you don't have a company page and you feel it would be beneficial for you, even as a person of one, if you're thinking, I'm just the one, that doesn't mean that a company page would not benefit you, because there are features with a company page that you don't have with a LinkedIn profile. A company page allows you to run ads. You can also upload videos, PDF files, presentations for people to use and share to others. And to increase your following, if you do have a Facebook business page right now, but you're not seeing it grow like you'd like to, there are different things that control the growth. You know, what we post, how often we post. But LinkedIn has added the ability for us to reach out to our connections and invite them to come and follow our business page. And of course, if you are going to create a business page, that's something you've got to step away from LinkedIn, outside of LinkedIn, and craft how that page, what that page message needs to be, the about information, the image you're going to use, a content strategy for use. That needs to be planned and built outside of LinkedIn before you ever launch that page. Same applies with a LinkedIn profile as well. That should have been done, that should have been created external to LinkedIn, and then fill it all in whenever you have everything ready. And this point I'm making here is that communities, that's what we have on LinkedIn. We have a community, and it is primarily, it's business. It's about business. And that's our concern right now, is business and life. But it drives a company's growth, community does. In meaningful conversations, you'll either get turned on or turned off if they're not meaningful and useful. And it helps us, and I know you all know this, build interactions into relationships that we can sustain and foster over time. So what we want to be in is the helpful mentality always, but especially now, how can we help one another? In fact, LinkedIn has a hashtag going right now. I'll see, it's in it together. And I would encourage you to go look at the conversations that are being held in the in it together hashtag. And so many of them are where people are sending in helpful resources. So if you have a helpful resource, then maybe that's a hashtag you might want to add to a post that has to do with that. The same thing applies with COVID-19. And I want to give you a word of warning about the hashtags. Do not use the COVID-19 hashtag unless it is related to the content, because you don't want to use a hashtag because it's getting a large following, and then we have information that has nothing to do with helping. So don't make that a practice. You're probably not doing that, but just in case, or you know someone that is, then help them to understand why they don't want to do that. As far as your page goes, these are benefits for your business pages, but I'm just going to leave this as a resource for you to look at a later time, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to go on into my LinkedIn profile and start working with you on what I've been talking about. And I'm going to come out of this PowerPoint and switch over. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's share that. Sorry for the delay. There it is. Okay, there it is. My toolbar changed position. All right, new share. It's not showing my LinkedIn. I'm going to try this again. Sorry for the delay. And Kim, I'm going to ask you to help me out for a moment. I am on my LinkedIn screen.
Okay.
Now, are you seeing my LinkedIn screen, Kim?
No, we're just seeing your PowerPoint. So I think you have to first stop share.
Oh, you're probably right.
And then you reshare and you choose.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah. I really do appreciate teamwork.
I know. We're in this together, right?
We're in this together. In it together, hashtag.
That's right.
The simple things.
That's right.
Okay, here we go. Thank you again.
Okay.
All right. Now, the reason I've chosen to go into my LinkedIn is so you can just see how these things look that I have verbalized through a PowerPoint. And also, Kim, you keep me on tap on the time. But as you look at my profile, for example, and you look at the top, if you haven't already, in your search bar in LinkedIn, you are able to put in a hashtag, and then your hashtags will come up, and you are able to then look at those conversations. I won't bring all those up, so I don't waste time changing screens, but that is where one place that you can put in for the hashtags. Now, when you are on your profile, every hashtag that you do choose to follow, and I'm going to go back to mine, which I'm not there at the moment, but on your profile, I want to stay on my post for you, trying to keep from switching pages too much because of time. But on your profile, when you're looking at your profile, right now I'm looking at my feed stream and post. But when you go back to your profile, below your profile, besides other things like the jobs you've had, etc., it's going to give you a list of all the hashtags that you are following. So you could at any time from your profile, click a hashtag and be taken to that conversation. Now on my feed, you can either go to my feed to get to what I'm about to share with you, or you can go to my business page. In fact, I would encourage you to follow my business page, which is by the same name of the company, MOSTraining, M-O-S, which, by the way, if you're confused by the acronym, it stands for Mobile Productivity, Microsoft Office, and Social Media. Those are the various areas of technology that I teach. Now, one of the LinkedIn pages of many that I would encourage you to follow to get good information that you can share is the LinkedIn business page. There is also LinkedIn for small business that I would encourage you to follow. All right, so let's get back to the hashtags. I'm going to go to my business page. I have learned so much while I go here. I have learned so much from other people through LinkedIn. And right now, LinkedIn, I mean, I've always been active on LinkedIn, but I'm even more so now with what's happening to everyone through this crisis. And it's been heartwarming to see how the community within LinkedIn, business community, how everyone from small to large has come together to help each other by what we share. Now, I've gone back to also my LinkedIn profile here on the left. So here I am on the left, and it's showing me down below recent hashtags that I have visited. And then I've got Work at Forge as a hashtag. By the way, if you're not following Work at Forge hashtag, you should add that to your follow list. And naturally, I would add COVID-19 and coronavirus, so that if there's anything in those conversations that you could contribute to help, then you would be able to do that within that feed. And then other hashtags I would add would be those standards like marketing and leadership. I would add remote worker. I'm going to go ahead and put remote worker in my search here so you can see. It does take time to help other people. And the time shouldn't be a factor in how you, in your decision to come here and be more active, or on any of your social platforms where you're providing help. It does take time to be a curator, but in the process of being a curator of information, it really serves two very important services. Besides the help that you're providing others by sharing what you've already read and curated, it helps us as the curator, because we're learning from what we're reading, and it helps all of us. All right, so here I am. I have chosen to look up remote working hashtag. Right now, there are 11,514 followers. And since that's an area of expertise that I do have, then I'm going to go ahead and follow that one. And now it tells me I am. And then you would just continue that process as well of following hashtags. I'm going to go to the one that I have that's COVID-19. And then my feed changes on the right-hand side, and you're always kept notified by that because of the banner that's at the top. You know, the things I've been reading in this particular feed, sometimes I just sort of get lost in the feed from, it's emotional. It's emotional to read how people are coming together to help, emotional to read what's happening to others. But so I won't spend any more time about the hashtags. You may have some questions here in a moment about that, but I'm hoping that you're beginning to see why that hashtags become important for you. If you have a business page, you can also assign up to 3 hashtags onto your actual page itself, and you can change those as you felt was needed according to what's changing in the business world and what the needs are. And I'm going to go over to my business page for a moment, just because you need to know that you can add your, excuse me for the delay. Apparently I'm not good at multitasking in my brain, a screen and talking. is that from that page, you're able to do things that you can't do with your profile. And if you're not following Work at Forge page, you should. And if you are ever uncertain as to what the name of a company is, you can either look at their profile or you can always search in the search bar at the top. So I'm going to Forge. And if you're not following the Forge business page, you should. And if you're not a member of Forge, you might not know completely how much the Forge does in terms of educating. There's always something business related to help us out. And they are broadcasting, updating, letting us know that through all their channels. And when I'm on LinkedIn and I want to know something about a company, I don't always pop off to the website. I'm already on LinkedIn, I'm having a conversation or I'm creating a post and I know I'm going to be there a little while. I just go on over to that company's business page to get information rather than leave LinkedIn at that moment to go to a website. Also, your business page is an opportunity, besides broadcasting information, it's an opportunity for you to put in a little bit of information about a bigger topic and then have it link on to your blog or your website. And so here's Forge's page. And when you're on a page, see how here, and I'm on their page, there's an option that says all business pages have this. There's all for me to look at all the Forge's posts. And then there is an option where if they uploaded images and I'm just interested in seeing the images, then I click images. And you can see some of these really baseline things that you have with a page versus a profile. Documents, for example, if they had uploaded a PowerPoint or a Word document, you can do all of those things. And like today, I could send my PowerPoint. My PowerPoint will be on my business page, MOSTraining. You'll be able to get to it and share it. And that's also great if you're going to have an event coming up and you're the speaker and you have a business page and there are materials you'd like to put out. This is one way of doing it beyond our website. And then if I just wanted to see videos that the Forge has posted, then I just click videos and then I have this video about the Forge. Welcome to the Forge. You can also pin posts so they stay at the top of your page and being visible. All right, so how are we going so far? Do we have any questions? I can keep going, but I'm welcome. I'm glad to answer any question right now as well too, or we can do it at the end. You decide what you want to do, Kim.
I have a few questions, and then if other people have some questions where we are, then we'll do that. I did link the Eventbrite for next week's, but I also am in the process of linking your video for LinkedIn for entrepreneurs, which I will also include in an email follow-up. But okay, I have a couple of questions.
All right.
Where should I start? The first one is, how much time do you spend in LinkedIn? There's just so much stuff. And to me, sometimes it gets overwhelming. And what I usually end up just doing is like reposting another article, but not like digging in. And so how much time do you spend, and do you recommend other people spend in LinkedIn?
That's a good question. And it's such a varying list of answers to that. But right now, because we're all in a struggle as business and community, COVID has changed that for us. So my time spent on LinkedIn, because that's where business is. It's the best social tool in terms of exclusive business. I probably each day just on LinkedIn, probably 30, 40 minutes a day. And I think that's a lot, but there's a lot right now. And we are, I say we all are, I'm assuming the mass majority of us we are not in a physical office right now. Like with me, the dynamic of my job has changed. On-site training, for obvious reasons, it's at a standstill. So these are being rescheduled to another time. So I have, I do provide online training, and that's another component of what I do. I am utilizing time to develop new things and to learn more from the business community so I can spend a little bit more time on LinkedIn than I could. Now, is the question more twofold, or do you want to know what should be your average time? What should be your plan for when you get there?
Yeah, I mean, even not in light of right now when we might have more time, but just as we are, I mean, some people on here are working for other companies, some people own their own companies, just like what you suggest is really helpful to see a difference, to actually be using LinkedIn to make an impact.
That's right, to make an impact. So on the time piece, I'll say one more thing to that, speak to that, is that it's important for us to have a plan for anything that we do. Just like when we go to a meeting, hopefully someone has an agenda, and we're going to follow the agenda. Of course, we all know how meetings go. They don't always follow the agenda, but we have an agenda. So that agenda is going to control the amount of time, if it's being followed correctly, that we spend in that meeting on this list. Now, I think you need to, as a suggestion among many I could give, is think in terms of the list. What do I need to be doing when I get to LinkedIn? What is my goal here? Is my goal today that I have a blog post that I created on my website, but now I want to go to my LinkedIn profile and I want to create an article using Publisher. So just remember, when you're going to do a post, I think it's a pencil, and when you click, you'll be in there to create the blog post. So you could take parts of your blog post and post in there the important parts, parts that would be helpful if they never went to your blog, but also helpful in increasing interest so they can link and go to your blog. So see, that would be on your list. Okay, I'm going to LinkedIn today. This is what I've got to do. I need to check these conversations. I know that LinkedIn for Business had a live broadcast the other day. I missed it. I need to watch it. And then if I'm going to share it. Does that make sense? Having a strategy for a plan for being there. It does need to fit into your time plan, your time management, because it can get away from you.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that.
Yeah. It can, yeah. Yeah. You can go down a rabbit hole real quick.
I mean, yeah. I suggest that people put a timer, if you got a timer app, either on your smart watch or on the computer, that you're limiting yourself. But I still believe, though, that you need to know why you're going in. Once you get there, then make it useful. Make your time useful. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to go in on LinkedIn for 10 minutes today. What are you going to do while you're there for 10 minutes? Can you make an impact? Sure you can in 10 minutes. Have a plan before you go in. I would say that to any social channel that we use.
Okay, another question. And this sort of tags what you just mentioned, but so at Forge, we often just repost our blog posts from our blog. I don't even know if I'm using the right word, but we just we link it and it shows up, So is it better to do that, like to link the post to your website, or to recreate your blog post in LinkedIn and make it its own blog post in LinkedIn?
All right. There's a couple of answers to that. One, I would suggest that you take parts of your blog and create a post within Publisher. Maybe not for all the posts. And here's the strategy for this, is that Publisher, when you publish an article using the Publisher tool, then that published document, article, it lives on your profile. So when people, so you might want to be strategic about what those topics are, since it's going to live on your profile. Also, I've had articles that I've written in years past be picked up by LinkedIn and circulated and promoted. So right now, think about what you're going to write about, because LinkedIn, this is something they do with that platform. If they pick up something there in that community and they think what you have written is speaking to the greater populace right now, it's very possible that what you have written will get circulated to others, or promoted, I guess I should say, by LinkedIn. Now, I don't think I've answered your question completely, so here's complete. I wouldn't suggest recreating it, because we want to keep content that people can always come back to on our own platform that we own. I mean, we own our website. None of these social platforms, we're here as guests, I guess you could say. But I would use it as a way to direct people. Now, as far as the post, if you're asking Kim about referencing it in a post on the profile, is that one part of the question?
Well, like we just, I guess, what's the
correct
strategy? We link it. Yeah, like if we do a blog post and we post it in LinkedIn, but it just takes you to our blog. Mm-hmm. We don't have, that makes sense about it lives on your profile if you publish it there, because none of our blog posts, I don't think, live on our business profile. But yeah, that answers the question. Okay,
but as far as the page goes, something too about linking to everyone is that all social platforms, have an algorithm. They all have it. And I've noticed that when I share an article, that I'm not getting as much attention to the article because of sharing. So what I will do is put into the post, this is my profile I'm talking about now, I will put in an important snippet from the article, and I will include sometimes a picture from the article as an upload. And then I put the link within my post, rather than it being a post that was generated from an outside share. You know how when we're on a website, we read something, we decide, oh, my audience could really use that. I'm gonna make that a post. I'm gonna share it. So you're sharing it from an external source onto your post. And I am finding that I'm not getting as much visibility with that approach as I am with the one I just described. Also, videos. I think many of you have your own video channels. I do. The Forge has a YouTube video channel. Is that what you might want to do on some videos that are smaller is do a direct upload of a video. I can't do that so much with my YouTube videos. These are big, and I want people to go to YouTube, and I want people to subscribe, as I know the Forge does too. But some videos I will create that are small snippets of information, and then I will directly upload them to my post, because the direct uploads get at least I found, get far more visibility than if I put a link out to another place to go to for that video.
Okay, I have another question. So what is the etiquette between like your company page and your personal page? Like if you post things on your company page and just repost it on your personal page, like what kind of balancing act and etiquette?
Yeah. And it is a balancing act, yeah.
Between those two,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, here is the protocol I've set for myself to follow, is that one, none of us want to read twice in two places. I try to keep it where my business page is me posting information about events that are coming up, posting, I want it to be a good mix of tips, tutorials, video, helpful documents. Then I utilize my business page for that, because I know, and none of us do, none of us want to be on someone's profile, this person we've chosen to connect with, we don't want to see post after post after post that's promoting oneself. And you don't want to do that. Now, it's okay to, like, occasionally, like with this event, I might, just before an event, pop in that event announcement on a profile post, but that's not the regular thing that I do. And also, I would try to keep business and the business page and the profile separate in terms of the content. Like right now, like always, I'm curating information for people. Now, some things I do go ahead and put onto my post because the greater audience for me is seeing those type of things. Does that help?
Okay. And I think I have one more question that you haven't addressed. Okay. Yeah, you've kind of talked about this, but when you're talking about entering into the discussion or providing information, being helpful, how do you think about that? Like reposting articles, just like doing an update post, creating blog posts? Like, what are the main ways? Helen's getting to me. That the best ways for entering into these discussions?
Okay, that's a good question. When I am reading conversations on a topic I've chosen to follow, and the conversation maybe is an area that it's something I've experienced before, and I found an effective way, what worked for me in handling that, then I will join the conversation with what that, well, I found this effective. It's not me selling anything. I'm just giving my personal experience of, oh, I went through that too, and here's what my company did, or here's what I did to overcome that, and it might work for you, it worked for me. And sharing, because isn't that what we all do when we get together and brainstorm? I mean, we are brainstorming ideas and learning from each other, but your brainstorming is happening collectively within the conversations you've chosen to enter into. And when you're in there, if you don't have something that you can contribute, excuse me, if you don't have something you can contribute, then I also think it's good for you to respond to and comment on posts where you learned something from what they posted, that before you got into that conversation, you had no idea you could do X, Y, Z, or you had no idea this resource for small business was available until you posted here. You know, the simple thank yous that make you visible. And it's genuine, because we are thankful when we have these things that we didn't know before because somebody shared it.
Well, that was great. If anybody else has any questions that we have missed or have not addressed, please, you've got just a couple minutes to type them in really fast. But Donna, this was so helpful. And I did put that link for your LinkedIn for entrepreneurs in the chat. And we will include it in the follow-up email as well, because it is so good. Y'all need to go watch it. It is really good. And, you know, I think I often downplay the importance of LinkedIn and what it can really do. And so you are always such a good reminder of how important it is to take the time and to really invest there. So Donna, thank you so much for joining us today. It is always a pleasure.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for inviting me. And I want to, hopefully it's timely. I think it's timely.
Yes, very timely and so informative and helpful. So thank you so much. Yeah, so again, just thank y'all for being here. There is a link for our next webinar next week on April 15th with Rebecca in the chat. So we would love for you to join us. Rebecca is also great, and she is a Forge member, and she is doing great things on lots of different channels. So we're glad that she's going to be with us next week. But please do, as Donna said, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So that you can LinkedIn, yes, so that you can be aware of what we're doing, the things that are coming up. And if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss, please just let us know. We will do what we can to be helpful, provide information that's valuable, really in this time, so that we can help prepare you and help your business grow. So thank you all so much. Oh, I will say this video is also going to live on Facebook. It's live right now, but please feel free to share this with anybody who you think would find this helpful. So thank you all and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for having me.